everyone, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow advocates. So I am honored to be here today and to speak at this Autism Conference 2025 as we gather here like in Manchester. Though I'm not there currently, I am joining remotely. So I want to acknowledge the incredible progress that we've made supporting people with autism, ADHD, and epilepsy. Today we celebrate the milestone that we have achieved, and we look forward to more challenges. I know that a lot is being done in UK, and part of my objective is to collect all this data and the best practices from across the world, and then we find a way to implement it down here in Nigeria, and that is why I am so much honored to be here today. So in Africa, the autism awareness movement has gained significant momentum. We have key stakeholders, including government bodies, that are coming together to address the challenges faced by individuals with autism and their families. So we are working to increase awareness and provide support and promote inclusive education for autism, epilepsy, and ADHD children. Hi everyone, my name is Marshall Uche and I work with Caritas as a monitoring and evaluation officer. So I am a relative to young adults, young autistic adults. So I've had a personal journey of advocacy and awareness. For nearly 5 years, I've been working alongside passionate Nigerians to promote neurodiversity and autism awareness. Our goal is to create a society that understands, accepts, and supports individuals with autism and their families. So let me start by stating the importance of parental support for autistic people. So as we navigate the complexities of autism, it's very, very important to recognize the critical role that parents play in supporting their children. Parental support is not just about providing basic needs. It's not just about clothing and shelter. It's about creating a nurturing environment that fosters growth, development, and inclusion. However, many parents face significant challenges, most especially here in Africa. They face significant challenges, including stigma, lack of awareness, and limited access to, certain resources. Africa is doing so well so far, and as a developing country, there are so many things that needs to, align in order to help us facilitate and provide more care and support to children with autism and ADHD. So one common pattern in autism is typical development until age of 2, followed by regression. That is for the children from 0 to 2 years, close to 2 years, they develop pretty well, and then later on every of the growth starts declining. So this can manifest in various ways. It could be from loss of skills. They stop talking, reverting to diapers, or hurting motor skills. So we also have the social challenges where they start ignoring names and avoid making eye contact or lacking peer association, or interaction. So we have repetitive behaviors where hand clapping, spinning, or lining up toys. So they also have rigid routines. So they also have sensory sensitivities. So covering of ears, avoiding textures, or reacting to intense lights or sounds. And also restrictive interest. They might be focused on one part of an object for a very long time, and they might be intensely attached to a particular topic. What can we do to support individuals with autism and their families? So here are some of the things, the actionable steps, and some of the things that we are currently doing in Africa, most especially in Nigeria, to support these vulnerable children. So we're consulting a doctor immediately. So if you notice any sign of autism or delays in development, so you can track milestone, and also you have to track their milestone while you have consulted a doctor, and you also track their milestones using the CDC's checklist to monitor your child's development. So CDC, which means Center of Disease Control, so they have a checklist where you have to monitor your child's development, their milestones. A big role is to be played by the parents of the autistic child. So you have to also join local/online support groups. One thing that the support group really does is you find parents that are in the same situation as you. We are advocating and begging that the government you provide more resources and donors will provide more resources, and that's part of our target, yes, for partly 2025 and 2026, so that we can be able to actualize some of this in Africa to create more schools, especially designed for people with special needs, children with special needs. So also supporting families and caregivers through respite care, emotional care support, and all of that. So many schools are ill-equipped to provide necessary support. Yeah, so there's an education gap where teachers, they don't even know how to care for these children. So there's an education gap in Nigeria where we need to really get parents and teachers up to speed with best practices on how to care for children with special needs, most especially ADHD, autism, epilepsy. So there's still a knowledge gap there. So we also have cultural barriers, cultural misconceptions, links of autism to spirituality as supernatural causes, hindering proper understanding and support. Yeah, so when you really do not grasp the concept of autism, you will think that, most especially here in Nigeria, we are very religious. So most of the sicknesses are always being, attached to spirituality. So you say you see your child being autistic, rather than finding a way to really provide services and care for the baby, you attach it to spirituality. So those are part of the problem that we are facing, in Nigeria. So we also have social isolation and stigma. So families face social isolation, radical exclusion due to misconception, emphasizing the need for public awareness campaign and support network. This is just a global issue. When it comes to stigma, there's still stigma, but it's more pronounced here because, once you associate autism with spirituality, honestly, there's a big trauma. In fact, in some cases, parents might even pray for their baby to die. So it's very difficult to see autistic children go through that in Africa. Despite all these challenges, efforts are being made, and awareness, advocacy, and support. We are working to push the Nigerian government to include learners with autism in the educational system and provide necessary support and resources. Here is my conclusion. So as we move forward, let's remember that every individual with autism deserves respect.